It's recording, but you can't hear the sound, huh?
Can you call?
70%. He doesn't.
That's just weird. Just calling on that,
No, it's not.
right?
Yes.
It's not on? Why?
I could hear some people talking.
Roche, I can hear.
You can hear?
Yes.
Oh, good. You can hear everybody in the room? Okay. Just want to make sure the sound was working. But when you speak, though, I don't think it's coming through the speaker, though. Is your sound on, Kate?
It's muted.
I'm going to mute myself, huh?
Hey, Marge. Yes. Yes, I'm hearing it. We're done WebEx. WebEx. Yeah. All right. So if my picture doesn't show up, that means I can't see me, right?
Correct.
Right.
I want to down the phone there.
Where I am now. Right. So that shows that that's not on. Right. See the camera.
Yeah, because if I bent
And
down,
that-
you'd see my face.
And then that thing. No, it's muted.
Click it again. Show me if you click it again.
I didn't click it. Muted. See.
You're good.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Is this the town council?
Yep.
Hi. It's Mary Catherine LaRose. I tried the meeting link and it wasn't valid, and then I tried to type it in and it said the meeting was either canceled or over. So my third try was the telephone. Who's this?
It's Jeff D'Onofrio.
Hi. I don't know how this works as me calling into the meeting.
Well, it's you're on the same line, WebEx, which is video conference.
And I take it as the meeting hasn't started yet then?
No, it hasn't started yet.
Okay. So if Kate Wall was there, I wanted to ask her to put me on the audience of citizens.
During the audience, everyone will just call on you, showing up as call-in numbers. So I don't know who it is. So when the mayor asked for people to, if they want to speak, go in line. You hear me?
Are you I don't know if I'm being spoken to or not. I'm not sure.
Dad? Can you bring my dressing and pepper? Dressing. Pepper, sorry.
Hi, everyone. This is Kate Wall. We're gonna, the mayor will start the meeting in
Yes,
a few
Jen.
minutes. Hi.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm not. The show says I'm booted.
Hello.
Oh,
So when after the mayor starts the meeting,
sorry.
first of all, everybody put
I'll
your
call
phones on mute. Okay?
Bye.
Please, because we pick up all your
Said I'm not
conversation.
muted. How come I not be muted?
I
Now
really don't know.
I can't hear them.
It's because you muted them. Your microphone has to be muted. It has to be on red.
Okay. And if you can't mute, be quiet. Okay. The mayor will call the meeting to order in a few minutes, and during the regular audience and citizens, we'll just ask people to, speak one at a time. You can't always identify who you are.
How about you sign off from there?
God, what is that?
I'm gonna leave the meeting. Just call me here. I'm going. You want to come in?
Well, they would hear everything twice, maybe then. Are we ready? Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town Council meeting of June 6th. If we can rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Forgot about that part.
Yeah. We're all going to be a little off our game here, right?
Councilor Ellison here. Mayor Kaczynski.
Here.
Councilor Luddy.
Here.
Councilor Payanessa.
Here.
Councilor Rosso.
Here.
Councilor Ioannata. Councilor Beach. Here. Mayor Council.
Thank you, Kate. All right, so we now come to our audience of citizens, so we will go ahead and take comments from the audience. If you would just identify yourself, and I'll call you to speak, and so, anyone wish to speak in the audience of citizens?
Yes, this is Mary Catherine LaRose
Yes.
from, if you can hear me, 26 Woodruff Lane in Kensington.
We can.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I wanted to speak about the possibility of opening one or more swimming pools in town. I looked at the agenda and I didn't see it on there unless it comes under someone's report or something, but I did get to see some notes that were sent back and forth about what might be needed to be done to open the pool. They were talking about Percival Pool. And I just had a couple of comments. One thing I don't understand is why the pool would have to be closed for a half an hour between swim times. It would seem if there's a custodian and the custodian is hired to be at the pool, that the custodian would be doing some ongoing cleaning all day, just like they're doing at the mall now, you know, the bathrooms, and tomorrow they're going to open gyms, and there's going to be some ongoing cleaning going on. So I just didn't know why we needed that half-hour closing time in between. And the other thing, $10 was mentioned as a fee. I don't know if that means that's a $10 fee for a family for the season, a very short season, or if they're talking about per time they come to the pool. But if it was to be per time, I just think that's outrageously high. I would almost think they should pay almost nothing, but that's my opinion. Another thing I noted was they said they're going to continue to have 5 lifeguards, but they're only having 50 people. And my question, since I'm not one to really frequent the town pool, what were the numbers of people allowed before COVID-19? If you needed 5 lifeguards for 100 or 150, whatever the limit was, I don't know that you would need 5 for 50 people. Maybe there's a regulation on that. I'm just throwing that out there as a concern. Also, the whole thing about someone needing to be hired to enforce social distancing, I think that's kind of overkill. I think that families are going to be doing that themselves. Maybe a gentle reminder of someone if you see somebody doing something, being too close or whatever, but to actually hire someone to enforce social distancing seems to be a bit heavy-handed to me. And then finally, this additional custodian to spot clean as needed, it seems to me, again, that custodian that's hired would be hired for the day, every day, and would be just constantly cleaning, sort of what I do at home. And as far as the lifeguards I think lifeguards can wipe down their own chairs and wipe down handrails. I see no reason why, if they're going off duty, they can't swab everything down. Again, I'm thinking about when I go to the gym and you use a machine, you spray everything, you wipe it down, and you walk away. It would be the same thing for the lifeguards. So anyway, those were the comments I had regarding the proposal that the Park and Recreation Department had. The other thing is maybe we could shoot for an earlier date. I know that I've spoken to a few people that are happy to volunteer if there's any preparation needed. So I was kind of thinking maybe we could optimistically shoot for July 1 instead of July 6, get that holiday weekend in there. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the pool. And again, I wasn't sure if it was coming up today or not, but I did want to say that. So thank you very much, and have a good meeting. I'm not sure I'm going to stay on for the whole thing because there's a lot of like squeaks and squeals and stuff on it, but I'll stay on for a while. But thank you very much for listening.
Anyone else wish to speak in the audience of citizens? Anyone else going once? Twice? 3 times? Okay. We'll go ahead and close the audience of citizens and move on to our agenda. We have 4 items. Donation to the Timberland Lady Niners Club, tree, for Rochetti, King, and Enford. A credit of $437 to be applied to purchase of Mitchell South, 2021 residents, senior pass, the golf course. Refund of $460 to Mr. Jerry Pengaskis for the senior restricted season pass due to medical conditions. Sorry for that. And a donation of $100 and appropriate the funds to peer support program expenditure account for the police department. So that's our consent agenda. Unless we have other comments or questions, we'll go ahead and make a motion. Yes, sir. Peter.
I was going to ask to hold 2 and 3.
Okay.
Because we've never received written policy from the golf commission concerning what their total policy is concerning refunds for anything. I'm not going to ask that we hold these. They look pretty straightforward. However, in the future, I'm going to ask that we not pass anything without written policy from the vote. I mean, we've asked for quite a few things.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Thanks.
If we could, Roche, can you get that, and for our next time we have something like this, yeah, that's good, I agree, these look pretty, straightforward.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I think we know that, I think it's right, yes, if I may. Yes.
So I followed up on the policy. There is a existing policy, but it covers only medical related issues for a reason.
Okay.
You get a doctor's note, they do provide a refund, but there is nothing else under the refund policy. So, but these two particular ones I mentioned, they are legitimate.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really health related, so hence we should probably move forward with it. But I do agree it doesn't cover a broad array of other things, such as the pandemic.
Yeah.
Something like that. What do you do if people don't want to take off, right? It's not interesting. So I'll follow up with.
Follow up, maybe they can work on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, thanks. So any other questions on the, for, okay, so go ahead and take a motion on this.
Okay, Council Luddy here, I will make a motion to accept the 4 items on the consent agenda.
Second on that?
Second it.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. I'm just texting someone who can't hear much on the call and the WebEx is not working. We're just seeing if anybody's curious to what they have to say about it as we continue. So we're going to go on to our public hearing now. And I'll call our public hearing to order. So notice the public hearing, Town of Berlin, we will meet at the Berlin Board of Education Conference Room, 238 Kensington Road, Berlin, Connecticut, on Tuesday, June 16, 2020, 7 p.m. for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the following proposed ordinance. And this is the ordinance exemption of property leased to charitable, religious. So the person says they could barely hear. I don't know if we need to speak up. Anyone listening, you can feel free, or text us, or figure it out. We'll speak up if we can. I don't know if there's any solution to the volume that the audience is hearing, but I'll try and speak up. Exemption of property leased to charitable, religious, or nonprofit organizations pursuant to the requirements and terms of the Connecticut General Statute, Section 12-1-58. Concerns any real or personal property leased to a charitable, religious, or nonprofit organization exempt from taxation for federal tax purposes. Applies to exclusively for the charitable, religious, or nonprofit organization shall be exempt from taxation by the municipality. And upon the cessation of any factor serving as the basis of the exemption, as determined by the tax assessor, the property owner shall be liable for the payment of municipal taxes on that portion that was exempt from the date of such cessation, including of the taxes for the tax year in which such cessation took place. Such liability shall attach to the property as charged thereon. So that's what it's about. And for public meeting, and now we would take public comments. If anyone from the public wishes to speak on this public hearing about this exemption of taxes of property leased from a charitable, religious, or nonprofit organization, we're looking at passing ordinance based upon the state statute.
Is that's not the, where the, where the.
Some of the folks are calling in on the WebEx.
Okay,
The WebEx is connected to her.
I see, so it's her act, okay.
Right, so the phone dialing in.
Person said it's a little better now. Maybe we need to be louder. That could be projected. Articulate. Okay. Do that. So anyone else, anyone from the public that can hear this, wants to speak, now would be the time. Hearing no one, we'll go ahead and close the public comments, and now we go to our town council comments. So, anyone wish to speak now from the council?
I have a lot of questions about this, and
Yes,
I'd like
sure.
to hear from our tax assessor what kind of impact this would have. And I don't quite understand how you would apply with this. Like, I looked at the example of if my church needed a home for their minister, could they lease the home in town for him, and would that home become tax exempt at that point? I don't think I have enough information to make a decision on this.
Valid point. Anyone else? So, the only question would be, I do agree that we did a little research on it from last time, and typically the tax assessor would give us at least some type of, information on what properties may be available. I mean, we need to know, affect our tax base to some extent, not that we're not trying to help out our charitable and religious organizations, but, I think this particular one, maybe in relation to one property, but we don't know how many other properties it may or may not affect. I understand the statute and the process is more complicated than that, and the town does have some discretion on, who would come in and ask for this exemption. We would be able to, kind of look at the whole purpose of it and see if it is proper under the ordinance and what we would want. But nonetheless, it would be nice to have a little bit more information on how it would work and what it might affect. And typically, again, doing some research, the assessor would maybe they'll give us some kind of ballpark of properties or, dollar amounts that it could affect us. Again, if the property is always exempt, I think the one we're talking about might already be exempt, so we're not sort of a break even, but that might not be the case for other properties that come under this ordinance if we do pass it.
Was this ordinance initially proposed with respect to Moreland Hill property?
Yes. Yes. So that's the one that I think prompted this to come forward.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Now, but that's still, not yet. No. Is it saying buyers are interested? Is that still on the table?
So I honestly don't know.
Okay.
If the same buyer is interested, it came out of that.
Yeah.
Because of, well, you can't tell us why, that was interested in.
Right.
Not buying, initially buying, then leasing the space. And hence, the ordinance would help, Moreland Hill, take them out of the tax roll. Now, in this particular example, they didn't pay taxes.
They're already out of the tax law.
To, your question, Charles, that could happen. I mean, these are challenges that some of the cities have faced. Suddenly you would say, I'm going to put a church in this building that's already paying taxes, and then you will take that off the tax roll. So, I don't know what those properties are, but I don't know if that could happen in Berlin. But it is a reality. So the church could move into somebody's home and say, it's going to be a church now.
Right.
So your ordinance allows them to get the exemption.
So I wonder if, and I understand, I think Jeff, you're on the line. I understand there's a process that we would go through if someone did come in and say, I want to be tax exempt for these reasons that we would look at. So I just wonder if we could get, for the next meeting, at least some more information and a little bit more from the tax assessor to give us, not that we would know which properties, but just, even ballpark, a few different properties come on board with this issue. How much, what potential tax revenue would we be looking at?
Well, a couple things. couple things to keep in mind is this exemption under 12-8158 of the general statutes applies obviously to properties that are leased for religious, charitable, or nonprofit purpose and used exclusively for that purpose. There's already an exemption without an ordinance, property that is owned by a religious, charitable, scientific, nonprofit organization that's using it for that purpose. So the process of verifying that the lessee is using the property exclusively for those statutory purposes is similar to what the process is when an owner of a property applies for an exemption of the property as the fee simple owner. So this is extending that same type of exemption to an owner in a scenario where the owner may not be engaged in charitable, religious, or nonprofit use of the property, but is leasing the property to an entity that is.
Okay. That makes sense. But we would, I don't know, I would like some more information too. Charlie would, maybe all of us would, if that makes sense. So the question is, do we leave this open then or do we just, I know we have we obviously, if we close it and it's fine, we can deliberate it next time and add information, correct?
It would be helpful to know exactly what you need.
Yeah. Well, I think the process, Jeff kind of outlined it, maybe a little bit more details, and if there's any way the assessor could help us, and I know we wouldn't necessarily know what properties anybody would come in and lease, I guess, but maybe there's just something, I mean, typically from what I understand, assessors do weigh in on this particular issue. I don't know if Joe has, I don't think I've heard anything from Joe. So I wouldn't mind talking to him a little bit, and I hope not, if the subject that brought this forward, the particular property, Moreland Hill School, if 2 weeks will matter that much to make, to just maybe feel a little bit more comfortable with it and get a little bit more information. Maybe look at some other towns and just see what they have done and how many properties, and I don't know. Rocky Hill, pretty similar population. What's the population of North Haven, Jeff? Similar to Berlin?
25,000.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than Berlin. Just to see how many properties typically come forward. Not that we can base that on what other towns have done or how many properties come forward, but we just have no reference point. I don't have any of that. We're going to lose $2 million in revenue in the future, or 50,000, or I don't know. I mean, this one's a wash. We know that, and I don't think anybody probably has a problem with something like that. But again, if it grows, then I don't know. I guess it shrinks the tax base to some extent. I just would like a little bit more, think about it a little bit more. But the question is, leave the public hearing open, or we can still get the information if we close it, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we just? Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Let's do that, just to keep it open, rather than risk.
So then, at the next meeting, there'll still be
Yes.
another public hearing?
Yes.
And then that will follow with the item?
Yes. And if we could talk to Joe in the meantime, just see, and Jeff, maybe, I don't know, or Roche, or between you and Joe, just other towns, what it means to their like Rocky Hill or North Haven or any town. That Newington's a little bit bigger than us, but I could ask them too, an adjoining town, if they have the ordinance, first of all, who has it around us, and what has it affected? Again, understanding that it's not if they own it, it's if someone comes to lease an already tax-paying property, right?
Yep.
Just some point of reference, Again, it may not be that big a deal, or it could be a huge deal, depending upon how it works in other towns. And I don't think any of us know that, right, at this point. So another 2 weeks, and maybe we'll have a little bit more information. I know I would feel more comfortable making a decision based upon that. So we'll go ahead and keep the public hearing open at this point, and we'll take it up at our next July 6th or something, whatever our next meeting is. Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and close that, or leave the public hearing open, move on to
new business, and of course, the first topic was the ordinance, but since the public hearing is open, obviously we would, we'll go ahead and not be looking at that topic. And then I would like to, just because I have a lot of people asking me as well as the speaker in the audience about opening the pools. Other towns seem to be doing it, obviously under the governor's guidelines, which we would follow. So I'd like to just put it on the agenda for discussion so we understand a little bit more about it, perhaps having read Jen's email. So if we could take a motion to add that topic, I guess that would be
A discussion or a vote?
well, discussion. I don't know if it's
Possible motion.
possible motion. I guess, yeah, if it leads to that, if we see what we all think. Yes. Yes.
It's on the line, I was going to talk about it on the town manager.
Okay.
But if you want to add a separate agenda, that's fine.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and add the separate agenda item. I guess we'll make it. What do you want to just call it? 1A. Is that easy?
Councilor Luddy here, I'll make a motion, name it 1A, real pool or a pool, and maybe a possible motion.
Thank you. Second on that? Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. There's Jen. So, I'm sure most of us read your information, Jen. So we appreciate the work you're doing on this, but, you know, what do you think about opening the pools or a pool? I mean, I don't know which is a better way to go. I'm looking at different towns, reading what they're talking about, and Bristol's on board, New Britain. I don't know if Newington's still on the fence. Did I read Rocky Hill was opening? I don't remember. I tried to follow it.
So Rocky Hill is opening one pool, following similar guidelines to what New Britain is doing using the reservation system. Newington has decided to stay firm. They're not opening their pools. And Weathersfield, mentioning the three towns, and I'm not sure if that's who we're in contact with. Weathersfield is not opening their pools. They're opening their pond. So, as you all know, I have sent you 2 emails about 2 pages each, one in May and one this week, that stipulates quite a lot of what needs to be done should we open the pools. Since that email was written, I just wanted to clarify a few things that were said to audience and citizens, because that email was written last week. And since then, I've had conversations with Doug Solik and some other people. So the custodian would not be a new hired custodian at the pool. It would be done through our own blue-collar facilities department. Some would be on overtime, depending on when the cleanings were to happen. So they would not be stationed at the pool. That is why we're doing the half-hour block in between the reservations, and that is very similar to how all the other towns are doing it that are using the reservation system.
Okay.
I wanted to address her concern about lifeguards. Lifeguards cover the circumference of the pool. So right now at Percival Pool, and that's the pool we're talking about, we have 3 lifeguard chairs that, based on the way they are spaced, they are able to cover the entirety of the pool visually. We have 5 lifeguards on staff because, per American suggestions and very typical in the aquatic world, is lifeguard shifts are usually 20 to 30 minutes on the chair because you want them to stay focused, you want them to stay
45.
And when they're sitting there in the hot sun on a 90-degree day, you have to give them a break. That is why you always schedule more lifeguards on than what you have in the chairs to allow everyone to take a break. So 5 lifeguards is typically what we would have on a regular day, but it's based, like I said, it's based on the circumference of the pool, not necessarily of the individuals in it. The person hired for social distancing, that's actually recommended in the Reopen Connecticut plan. It's also similar to what a lot of other towns are doing it. They're calling it a please person, kind of. Someone to walk around and just kind of remind people to wear their masks, remind people to social distance from each other if they're just kind of, sometimes people just, you know, they start to hang around too close to the pool, and we're going to have a 3-foot area around the pool. So we need to make sure that we have that person. And like I said, recommended by the Connecticut Open Guidelines and recommended by other towns. I wanted to address something that was mentioned at the Board of Finance meeting about wearing masks on pool decks. That is actually in the guidelines of the sector rules. It's on page 17, if anybody wanted to look it up. It says if you're not in the pool or in the showers, you should be wearing a mask. we've talked to New Britain, and they're saying because each reserved area, each family will have a designated block that they will be assigned to. If they're in that designated block, we don't feel they have to wear a mask. But if it's a mom wandering around the pool to watch her children, or if they're making a walk to the bathroom or entering and exiting, we feel they should have masks on. The $10 fee, that's something myself, Roche, Debbie, and Kevin have gone back about over the course of this day. Rocky Hill, for example, is charging $1 per person per reservation. So basically, we have 50 people in a reservation block. That means there's 50 spots that people can reserve. So I can go on and reserve my family of 3 for $3, and that gets me a 2-hour time block. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to understand that it's only 2 hours, and the cost of a summer pool pass in previous years is $70. So just to give you an idea, if we charged $5 within 4 days, they're spending more. Within 4 2-hour time blocks, they would be spending more than they were if they had a pool pass for the whole year last year. That would give them, whereas this is only the first 50 that sign up. So that's why we're kind of trying to $1 per spot is a fair. We're also thinking people have been shut in, possibly without. So you're not going to make money on this, no matter how you do it, because it's not fair to sell the $70 pool pass. Because if I'm a taxpayer and I pay $70 for a pool pass, well, because I'm not one of the first 50 that signed up and I can never use it, I'm going to be pretty upset about it. So aside from the 2 minutes I said, I just wanted to clarify all that information. Other than that, I'm here if you have any questions.
Okay. Sounds like you're swimming in the pool. I don't know. It's okay. But Jen, we appreciate that info, clearing those things up. Again, you know, I guess I'm hearing from different people. I've heard emails, people come up, you know, a lot of people aren't taking vacations, they can't find rentals, they're here with their kids, so they're asking, you know, can we do that? And I don't know, personally, other towns are doing it. Obviously, we're following the guidelines of the governor, CDC. I think we should do it myself, even for a short period of time, because it's just something that we can help our residents with during this difficult time of all these things. So I think it's worth it. And it seems like the system is pretty well defined, and we appreciate all your homework and looking what the other towns are doing. I mean, other towns have chosen to do it, so in our health district, so it seems like we'd be following those same rules. So that's what I think. And what would be the date you think, Jen, if we did want to do this? What would the earliest date you would be able to open?
We could shoot for prior to the 4th of July. I think July 1st is a little hard. I talked to Steve from Parks and Grounds, and based on the work that he has to do at the pool, he could be ready for the health department inspection on June 26th, pending any equipment needed fixing or anything. If we got that done on the 26th, if was available, our staff still has to go through in-service training the following week. So, I mean, we could push for July 1st, but I can't guarantee anything. It's all still dependent. We've already told all our swimming staff of 17 people that they didn't have jobs this summer. So we have to go back out to them to make sure we can get them. If we can get them back, it's obviously a lot easier than if we have to hire staff, do background checks, do extra trainings.
Okay. And you think it's probably enough of an effort to open just one pool? Is that what you think?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know any towns that are opening more than one. I think everyone's going to be so stressed and bogged down just one at this point.
Yeah, understandable. What date do we usually open in a normal summer?
Usually we try to open very close to the last day of school. Sometimes it's a day before, sometimes it's a day after.
Okay. And when do we normally close? So when would we, mid-August we close, I think?
August, anywhere from like August 10th to the 15th we shoot for. The majority of our staff is college kids, so it all depends. When we lose our college lifeguards, that's when we have to close because they're going to college.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, appreciate all your hard work. I know we know it's not easy with the requirements that are in place, obviously, to keep everybody safe, so we understand why they are so extensive, but I think it would be a good thing to open and help our residents out who may be here and, during the summer and let their kids and themselves have enjoyment time in the town of Berlin. So whatever the other counselors open it up to all of you for your comments.
And Councilor, your comment, and once again, thank you for taking on all this, the email you read. Just a couple questions to clarify, because you're getting blocked out. As far as the reservations are concerned, nobody has to buy even pool pass, right? The reservation rate is basically for whatever reservation you make, and then what is the rate that Berlin that you got to determine?
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying.
You know what, maybe, want to come closer, I'll put my mask. Yeah. I think that's, or you want to move the mic?
If we can,
I can hear the mayor pretty well, but everyone else is kind of jumbled.
Jen, can you hear me now? How's that?
That's better.
Cool. So in any case, when you were talking about the reservation system, it just got a little jumbled on the, I just wanted if you could clarify, one, there's not going to be a pool pass fee that anybody has to pay for the season. Is that correct?
Correct.
And two, what is the rate that you're going to establish for reservations? Will it be per reservation or per person in the reservation?
We're considering going after what Rocky Hill has decided to do. They've been planning it for a while. They are doing $1 per person per reservation. So if you were going to register a family of 4 for your 2-hour time block, it would be $4.
$4, okay. Are you considering
anything like once you get to the $3, $4, $5 rate, you're really taking a risk that people are going to be spending a lot more than when they would have bought a family pass on a normal summer.
Right. If you have, let's say per session, you have less than 50 people that are on the deck at one time, would you be able to handle walk-ups for people that instead of walk up and say, hey, you guys have less than 50 people in the pool, would you still be able to go through the reservation system to get yourself into the pool if you wanted to do that?
The only way we would be able to do walk-ups is if we had some kind of electronic device like a tablet or something with Wi-Fi embedded into it, because there's no Wi-Fi at Personal Pool, so we could make the registrations online with them, because we don't want to do any cash transactions and take that risk of cash changing hands.
And the question about the reservations too, that's not just for reserving, it's also to make sure that we have a record of who is there, so that if you do have some issues, like if somebody ends up getting sick, you can follow the proper protocols for that, right?
Correct. And is this Mike? I can't even tell.
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay. So Mike, also, if you're registering, you're only registering for your household. So you would only be able to go into RecTrack and register for your household. You can't say, I'm going to register for 6 and 2 of them are going to be neighborhood kids. It's going to be linked to your household, because we want to discourage families coming together at the pool, because then it makes it harder to maintain social distancing when we're at the pool.
And then I guess my last question would be, I know you said that usually you close because you end up losing lifeguards. If you're able to get other lifeguards that don't have to go to college or something, would you consider lengthening the season if you could?
I don't know how to answer that now. I would have to look at expenses and everything like that.
Okay. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I do want to just, in all honesty, be fair and let you know that I did reach out to Charlie Brown of the Health District, and he is still discouraging the opening of pools. I just want to make sure that that's out there.
Okay. Discouraging the opening, yeah. I appreciate that. All right. Yes, Peter.
Jeff, are you out there?
Jeff?
I'm here.
Yeah, what kind of exposure are we looking at by opening that pool, not only to injury, but to the COVID?
I'll tell you, I have for what it's worth, a waiver form that I was using the pool. You know, the issue with regard to COVID in terms of given what we've learned over the and which virus is transmitted, I think it's extremely difficult to establish some or doing God knows what high touch surface contact with people in a variety of settings. So, you know, various versions of waivers.
Yeah. He was here before too, right? He spoke before.
Mark, sorry, I'm interrupting because there's some kind of interference of noise. Sounds
Yes.
like someone is
Yeah.
scraping something constantly. I could not follow anything that man said.
No.
I don't know what's going on, but there's somebody scraping constantly.
Mark. Jeff?
Doing something. Can you mute them doing this and anything else?
Yeah, I know, he was clear before.
And we could see him. too.
Yeah, what happened? Hey, Jeff?
Yeah.
If you can hear us, we can't hear you at all really now. Before you were clear as a bell, so I don't know what happened, but I wonder if it'd be worth it to have to call a cell phone and just to hear that part. It's pretty important to hear that part.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the ball game, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Jeff, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can see myself. What?
I can't hear them now.
I can't hear the meeting.
No, me neither.
I can hear you.
Oh, there you are. We can see you. We can see you. Do you hear us?
Or meeting number followed by pound.
Oh, boy.
Somebody else is on the line that's screwing up.
Something's going on.
Enter your ID or the numeric meeting password followed by pound.
Caller 10 is the one that needs to be muted.
How about that,
Jeff, better?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you. So if you could, we lost most of that conversation, so I hate to make you say it over, but.
Enter your Candy ID or the numeric meeting password followed by pound.
As a best practice, we would provide Jen with a waiver/release that all users would be required to sign if they're going to utilize the tool.
Oh, God. As far as we can get.
One recommendation from a liability protection perspective. The other made, again, I don't know how much of it you heard, but the idea of a proximate cause for any plaintiff that is infected with the virus is a major challenge because there's still so much inconsistent information in the scientific community about the manner in which the virus is transmitted. You know, some folks, you know, from World Health Organization, recently last week, there was a big dispute about whether or not asymptomatic infections were at a high rate. You know, is it aerosolized? Can you know, get it from touching your mail? I mean, there's so much inconsistency. That's kind of a long-winded way of saying that between the difficulty establishing proximate cause and getting the users to sign a waiver release. I wouldn't use concern about liability as a primary basis for objecting to the opening of the pool.
Okay, so the waiver would be the smart way to go if we reopen.
I think our insurance carrier would be looking for that from us anyway, so.
Sure.
You wanna go out? I'm gonna close everything up and take my shower. Go ahead outside, come on.
Now, will that allow a parent to sign for a 4-year-old kid?
Sure.
The waiver?
Minors,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say minors obviously don't have legal capacity to sign the document, so a parent or a guardian would have to sign minor.
Jeff, one other question. Even if we did get waivers signed, oftentimes those aren't really enforceable if the town did get sued. Isn't that correct?
Well, that's why I said we don't have any case law that tells us whether a waiver in a pandemic is enforceable, because you don't, do they know what they're waiving? What rights are they relinquishing? So the enforceability of it, certainly there's doubts about that, but not doing it, I don't think is wise at all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But like, I'm thinking just like even like a school trip, if a kid, if a parent signs a waiver and that child gets injured on the trip, they can still sue.
Yeah, it's not a silver bullet by any stretch.
Right.
I mean, that's great, but but that whole thing applies to everything. So even the restaurant owner opening his restaurant could be sued if you want to say somebody gets COVID from there. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole for every single thing now. The gym opens tomorrow, so we can use that. So, but I guess if we follow that rule, we probably wouldn't open anything in the town, because we would be, allowing it to be open. So hence the governor guidance is that it can be open with the reasonable restrictions. So, and with the waiver, I would certainly agree on that. So that to me, that would apply to everything we open. I know this is a town. We're opening the field, so by that, somebody could catch it at the field, I guess, right? I mean, there's just no way to.
Well, there is considerable talk both in Congress and in Hartford about some type of legislation providing immunity to businesses and public agencies that open in accordance with applicable sector guidelines and rules.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great if they get to it in time.
Well, my concern is, and this isn't for Jeff, just in general, I can envision a bunch of little kids running around, and how are you going to maintain social distancing and masks with a gang scene? I just concerned.
We also have to maintain social distancing in the actual pool. If there are a couple kids close to each other, we have to ask them, do they live in the same house? And if they don't, we have to ask them to separate.
Come on.
In the pool.
Yeah, social distancing has to be done outside the pool and in the pool. Especially in the pool, because you don't have masks on.
And how many people are usually there at the pool? Did we know on any given summer day? Is there an average?
I don't know that answer. Debbie would know that answer, but I unfortunately don't know it.
I've been there the last 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
I would say in the summer, you could have anywhere between, I would say, maybe you could have as much as 50, 55 people, where it's you was like 7.
Right. What I remember back in the day, it'd be.
You really don't know. I think that we'll have more, obviously, just everybody sort of.
Hey, come here.
Yeah.
I'd like to I think we need to open the pool. I know that there are risks associated with this, but I think that the kids need something else to do besides sit in the house. We're opening museums. There are some camperships that are going on. I think we need to open the pool. I just,
hey, come here.
I think we need to open. It's going to require a little extra effort on our part. It's going
Winter.
limit the amount of people that,
No, someone's got,
limit the amount of people that we
Tell.
have to have there? We'll have the extra staff, and I think we need to open it, I really do.
hey, if anyone's listening to the meeting, if I could just ask you, please, to mute your phones if you're not speaking. I know we're still getting people that are coming through and that aren't muting their phones unless you're speaking, so we really appreciate that if you would accomplish that for us.
If they don't sign the waiver, then they can't have access to it. It's
Yep.
simple as that. Not that that's a foolproof,
No.
situation, but it's like that with any field trips, et cetera.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if we take the proper precautions and follow the governor's guidelines, I mean, he did issue that guidance, so we're following his guidance, and as we have in everything else. So, I mean, it applies to everything. I mean, everything that's opening tomorrow is all under the guidance of what the governor has told us that we can do. So every business is at risk, apparently, right, unless the government, the federal government passes something, or state government. But that's with everything we do. I mean, even the pool open on any given summer, we have liability. So liability everywhere today. So I don't really think that matters. So anybody else?
Councilor Luddy, I agree. I think we have to try and move forward, bring back some semblance of normalcy, and get these kids outside. I listened to the Board of Ed meeting the other night. They brought this up in their meeting. Probably shouldn't have brought it up in their meeting, but they did. They were on board. We put money in the budget. I think we got to try and open the pools, or at least personal pools.
Board of Ed or Board of Finance?
Board of Finance.
Board of Finance. Okay, anyone else? Yes.
I just wanted, just to say, I think, well, first of all, having all concern for the children, I love that we're doing this. I hope that we remember the concern for the children when I come to the budget time, the Board of Ed, when that comes through. But again, it's very welcome. I too worry about the mental health of our children, because I had a conversation with a Parks and Rec director today who said that one thing that we can't measure right now is what kind of toll this takes on the mental health of the kids today. And I thought long and hard about the conversation I had with him for an hour. And I think that if we're going to put together this whole thing where you have to make a reservation, you have to sign a waiver, you really, really want to go to the pool. I mean, it's one of the things where you really want to go to it. So if you really don't want to be exposed to that type of thing, it's very easy not to pay the money and not to go to the pool. So if you want the pools open or the pool open, I agree that if you want to do that, then go for it. I just obviously would hope that we can make sure that we enforce the social distancing and do the right thing, because as much as we want to guess and think that, well, this can survive in one thing and not the other, we don't know. Nobody really knows. And if we don't know, we need to be very cautious about that. With all that said, I think if people would like the pool open, I think we should open them.
Okay. Anyone else in the council? No? Okay, so thank you, Jen. Let's just go ahead and we'll just make a motion so we go on record that we would, make a motion.
Councilor Luddy here, I'll make a motion that we authorize the town manager and the appropriate staff to proceed to open Percival Pool as soon as possible.
Which would include all safeguards recommended by CDC, the governor, our town staff, our local health district, whatever we need to do to safeguard everyone at the pool. All right, I had that. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Second on that? Thank you very much. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, so you also need to vote on a fee, because in our fee schedule that was adopted by you, we don't have a fee for the reservation piece. Or maybe take a vote to let Arosh have the authority to do that, and we can talk with him this week to come up with something, but we won't be able to open it without some kind of authority on naming the fee.
Was there a max, Council Beach here, was there a max of $5 per family? Is that what that do we talk about
I don't
a
know if
match?
she's,
Or just $1 per person?
$1 per person, right?
Yeah, it has to be on an individual basis, so you always have the option to fill the entire 50 spots.
Okay, so
Okay.
can we move to do the dollar per person?
Yeah, so we'll move, let's go ahead and make a motion for
Okay, I'll
that.
make a motion still under 1A to set the rate for using the pool at $1 per person.
Thank you. Second on that? But, per reservation,
Sorry.
per reservation. Okay, the motion's corrected, second, and, any other comments or questions?
And that reservation's 2-hour interval?
Yes, 2-hour interview, interval.
A quick question, Jen, does that make sense, $1? Does that work for Berlin?
I'm sorry?
Just as far as like a cost is concerned, do you believe that $1 would be good for Berlin?
I believe that you are not going to make more money than it's going to cost, no matter, unless we skyrocket the fees at this point. By not having the summer pool pass, you're going to lose money.
It's gonna be a money decision. Right. Yeah, but as long as it makes sense, we're not,
Okay, all right, so we have, amended that motion to, what we talked about. Okay, all those in favor? Oh, aye. Second. Any opposed? Okay, so moved. All right, Jen, you got your financial, decision made.
Great.
Save Roche some homework.
Thank you for moving it up on the agenda.
Thank you so much, Jen. I know it's difficult, but we appreciate the effort and the time. I think the residents really will appreciate it, at least from the ones I've heard. They really will appreciate this, move.
I hope so.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. So we are now on to 2, right?
So, agenda item number 2 has to do with the Knights of Columbus property, and we have a request from the chairman of the Berlin Housing Authority to extend the option. I thought we'll make it a discussion this time. Joe, if you're on the line, please speak.
I am here, Joe Bajorski, Rutland.
Thank you. He's in the car.
He's in the car. Hope he's not driving.
What's that?
Joe, we hope you're not. It looks like you're in your car. I hope you're not driving.
I am not, but I am parked in a French fry joint, so if you hear seagulls, that's where I'm at.
All right, we're good, Joe. We're good. Having a little fun with you. That's all. Okay, Joe. So, Joe, go ahead. You're on.
Okay. So, in discussions with Department of Housing and CHFA, it has come to our attention that there's going to be some restrictions loosened on age restrictions starting in September, when the new QAP comes out for the 9% tax credits. That's been the holdup to get that property financed under the 9% tax credit scheme, which was the original design of the project. Based on that information, I'm requesting that we extend the option agreement through November to allow us to take advantage of the new flexibility that the Department of Housing is showing and allow us to file an application for 90% tax credit financing.
Okay.
Did you get all that?
Yes, we did. We get it. Thank you. So it's for discussion, and I know we've are desperately trying to get this project completed. We've had many roadblocks and from many different areas, so it's just the way it goes. And every town is going through this. It's certainly not just Berlin's problem. There's a need for senior housing everywhere, and just the requirements to get the financing and the tax credits and all this is very difficult with the structure that is in place. So we are striving to continue with that. I would like to do a little, and I appreciate, Joe, your input, and I know your consultant has
worked with you and the state on this, so I'd like to maybe, so this is discussion, so I'd like to have the town, just from our due diligence, do a little homework on that too. We still have a little time till the end of July. We have 2 more council meetings, so we kind of set this up as a discussion just to bring it out to the council, let them, mull it over and think about questions and, where we will go from here. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna do a little, based upon, we just had this conversation the other day, so we got it on this agenda to get it out here to everyone, and we'll, between Arosh and Mr. D'Onofrio, and, the council, whatever information we can bring to the table, just to, if that's true, I mean, if it makes it easier to get that 9% credit, I know we all know that's the magic number to get that project done. That's wonderful. And if for some reason we determined, in July that maybe that's not doable, we'll look at some other options which may present themselves. So we want a little time to mull it over and do a little more due diligence on our part. And I think I mentioned that to you the other day, and then we'll bring it, put it on the first meeting in July is the 7th, I think, right? Right, yeah. So we'll put it on that agenda, and by then, hopefully, we will have some more information gathered beside what you have given us, which we appreciate that, and hopefully we can come to a conclusion on this issue for the extension of the option, and that we will have a successful project to look forward to. So,
Yes.
anyone else?
I have information from the state, but I don't know how concrete it's going to be because their cycle runs August, September. So basically, they release the QAP either in August or September. They make their announcements at that point in time, and then the application deadline is November. So and usually they award in March. So those are the months. So I don't know what additional information I'll have for you prior to the July meeting. We are endeavoring to set up an in-person meeting at the Department of Health. But again, I don't know if that's going to go prior to the 7th of July.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, and we will work towards this goal of getting this thing going. And,
are there any questions for any other council members while I'm here? Or?
Any questions? No questions at the moment, Joe. So we appreciate it, taking your time, and we will be talking to you.
All right, very good. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks a lot. You too. Okay, so we're good on that agenda item, so we'll go to number 3.
So agenda item number 3 is to buy more medical supplies, to move money from services. Wendy, are you on the line?
Wendy?
Probably not. Okay. So just at the beginning of the year, they had a certain amount set aside, and they need to just move, $1,000 more to buy more medical supplies.
Okay.
It's going over the $10,000 limit, hence council.
Okay. Take a motion.
Sure. Councilor Liddy, I will move to approve transfer of $1,000 from medical services to medical supplies for purchasing supplies.
Second on that? Second the motion. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 2, second
motion, I move to waive the bidding procedure to increase the purchase order to McKesson Medical by $4,000 for an amount not to exceed $14,000 to allow for purchasing medical supplies and medical services. This is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second on that?
I second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4 is a request to purchase 10 more laptops. Finance director is on the line. Kevin?
Kevin?
Good evening. This is an extension of the 8 that were purchased a little while ago. It's in response to our efforts to be able to continue functioning in the event of a recurrence of the pandemic or other issues that might come up. And, it's using a state contract bid to purchase them.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I know we were we're very short on laptops, right? What do we have, a couple when we started this?
We have
Eight.
one.
8? We had 8?
We had one.
One.
We
We had
had
1?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
Huh, okay, well.
So, just so that you know,
Yeah.
they'll be submitting for reimbursement from FEMA.
Yeah, I was,
All of them.
yeah, as a lot of this COVID stuff, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna be able to get some reimbursements, yeah, that's great, okay. Of course, all our tax money, but just another pot. It's all coming out of the pocket somewhere.
Arose, the 18 laptops totally, in total, cost 21,000, or is that? for each of them?
10,000. 10 laptops, 21,000.
Oh,
With the docking stations, yeah. The previous they could purchase below. So, right.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Okay, Councilor Levy, I move to approve the purchase of 10 Dell laptops from Empyrean Technology Group of Brookfield for $21,186.20 using the state contract number 13 PSX 0280 MNWN C108AG.
Thank you. Second on that?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 5, to accept a donation from Joseph Mansley Foundation for the Berlin Fire Department. Mr. Simons, are you on the line?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, you're on.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good.
Just ducky.
So, nice, that's a nice donation, Jim.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yes, I'd like to give credit to the presidents of the 4 departments. They spearheaded this whole thing, went out to found the donation money. A lot of people don't know, but Joe Manzi was actually a member of one of our fire company when he died. And through the efforts, the original efforts, the Manzi Foundation was originally started with the family. And it's come full circle now, and they're going to donate $4,500 for us to do this. So it's great.
That's wonderful. Very nice of that foundation and the Manzi family. Okay.
Great family.
Yes, they are. All right. If there's no other questions, we'll take a motion.
Sure, Councilor Levy here. I move to accept the donation of a computer module and related supplies needed to create identification cards for the Town of Berlin Fire Departments. The donation is worth $4,505.
You second on that?
I second it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Agenda item number 6 is to approve changes for the paid on call program, the fire departments. Jim, you're on again.
Yeah. So the paid on call program started in 2011. And at that point, it was to supplement the firefighters, to keep them or retain them, and hopefully bring some additional firefighters in. Back when we started it, we had just about 100 firefighters. Currently, we have 80 that are on our training logs, and we have 63 that are paid on call. So we've been diminishing them. The paid on call program from 2011 to 2020, 9 years, it has helped service. Unfortunately, volunteerism is continued to decrease. Many of our towns have taken the effort to put up time firefighters that are currently already trained or go completely to pay. In Cromwell, they went completely paid, and they supplemented them with volunteers that are working 6-hour shifts as part-time employees. What we're finding is that we're losing some individuals to these other towns that are now paying for volunteers, paying for part-time firefighters. And we also know that the economy has changed a little bit since 2011 to where we are now. So when we started it, we did a tiered system of 1 point or 2 points depending on the call, and we did those calls by looking at our attendances and seeing where we had good attendances, where certain calls and bad attendances. So obviously the good attendances, for the more major calls was a lower point value versus the calls for running fire alarms and things like that. It was higher point value. And it worked pretty good for a long time. And we did look at paid on call programs for hired firefighters about a year ago, when certain events and times, we took care of that. As we continued, we kind of noticed that we were losing some individuals to becoming peak time in other towns that are surrounding us. So we went back and we looked at everything, and we came up with we have to be in competition with the other towns. We also have to be in competition with supplementing the economics of a household, where the individual doesn't has to go out and get a second job. We're not looking to make everybody rich, but we're looking to hopefully get, in the life of the fire service, increasing the amount of points that are paid. So we looked at everything. We went with 3 points for each call, for every call, and we put it into the budget last year. And unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to discuss it during the budget last year, but it did go through the budget last year through both the finance board and the town council, and so we're looking to implement it now. That's a nutshell.
Okay, thank you for that. Listen, we all know we are so very fortunate to have you guys, women, volunteer firemen, in whatever town they may be in. We're certainly very fortunate in Berlin. We have enough to man our fire departments, and we certainly know that unfortunately it seems like it becomes more and more difficult to fill your ranks, and I would imagine down the road, hopefully it's far down the road, that there may be some paid people in Berlin, but let's hope we don't have to go there for a while. So yeah, I think whatever change we can make within reason, and this is certainly very reasonable, we would, be happy to do that and keep our volunteer fire departments vibrant, So again, we appreciate all the work you do and the time you put in, and as a volunteer, again, which is wonderful. So
thank you.
Any other comments? We're good?
Jim, it's Councilor Uranaga. Just a quick question. How competitive is Berlin with other towns as far as this stipend is?
This will put us right in line with the other towns surrounding us. And what we're really trying to do is we're trying to keep the individuals that will go do a shift in another town for 6 hours to remain available in our town for those 6 hours. So we're trying to offset that stuff.
Right. Thank you, Jim.
Just another note. Last month of May, the fire department responded to 57 calls in the town. That included 4 major structure fires, 13 accidents in which they had to cut 2 cars apart to get the people out of, and the remainder calls were outside calls, smells and bells, food on the stove, things like that. But 57 calls, everybody says, well, how many calls actually, do the guys actually go to? Well, 57 in a month, that's a pretty good month. We usually do 650 to 700 calls a year. So wow. There is a need for them out there that people don't realize.
That's a lot of calls.
Yeah.
Jim, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
Counselor Beach. Jim, this is Counselor Beach. I just want to thank you and those guys and those gals. They do a fantastic job. It's the least that we can do for them. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then it looks like we're ready to have a motion.
Sure, Councilor Luddy here. I move to approve the changes for the paid on-call program.
Second on that. Thank you very much. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Agenda item number 7, one more for you, Jim, to purchase of auto parts and supplies from various vendors. Back to you.
Okay, so in the garage, in the fleet garage, obviously we spend $125,000 in parts throughout the year to repair all the equipment in town. And with the town's purchasing requirements of over $10,000, we have to go out to bid, or we have to have a contract out there. Some we have contract for, but some we don't have contract for. We try to split the purchases up to the least amount, and I require that my guys, when they go out and look for, just say, a muffler for something, they give me at least 2 or 3 prices on that same muffler, so we always go for the cheapest price around. And what we're doing is the series of motions is just to allow us to move forward starting July 1st, because we'll be over the $10,000 in some of these pretty quick.
Okay. All right, so we'll go, so we have multiple motions here, obviously, right, with different vendors?
Correct.
Okay. Yep, all right, so we'll go ahead and start
Okay, I
motions.
will move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using a Sourcewell contract from Napa Auto Parts for an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Second on that?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Next, I move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using the above U.S. Communities contract from Advanced Auto for an amount not to exceed $15,000.
Thank you. Second on that?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Next, I move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from Fleet Pride for an amount not to exceed $20,000, since this is the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Next one, I move to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies using this above state Connecticut Department of Administrative Services contract from Tasca Ford for an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Again, I will move to waive the town's bidding procedures and to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from Monaco Ford for an amount not to exceed $10,000. This is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
And lastly, I move to waive the town's bidding procedures and to approve the purchase of auto parts and supplies from Rock Auto for an amount not to exceed $10,000, since this is in the best interest of the town.
Second?
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Jim.
For the next,
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Agenda is, actually 8 through 14 is from facilities. These are a series of, purchase orders, blanket purchase orders that we are requesting for utilities, building, maintenance, custodial type of work. So I'll start with number 8. Doug, are you on the line?
Yes, good evening.
All right, good evening.
Hey, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
Start with number 8, please.
Yes, this is for some additional work related to the high school chillers. One of them is a computer software upgrade, and the other one's for a cooling tower upgrade of a major component.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a motion on this.
I will move to approve an increase in purchase order 200466 for Dakin Applied up to $60,000 for additional maintenance, testing, cleaning, and repairs of the Berlin High School chillers, utilizing Omnia Partners contract R150505.
Okay, second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 9 is a purchase order for sole source related to link systems.
Doug?
Yes, this is our annual service agreement for the 5 schools. It exceeds cumulatively our $10,000 threshold combined out of our school maintenance account, so we're asking for approval to continue that service agreement with the sole source provider.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, take a motion on this.
Okay, I move to authorize the town manager to increase the purchase orders for fiscal year 2021 for sole source service provider, automated building, Glastonbury, Connecticut, in the amount not to exceed $50,000 collectively.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10, and approve Department 38, purchase orders increasing materials, custodial supplies, $25,000.
Number 10, Doug? Anything
Yes,
to
sorry,
add?
it's broken up for a minute. Yeah, it's just similar to what Jim had discussed, is that this is our cumulative purchases throughout the fiscal year. We do reach out to, I mean, we have multiple vendors that we solicit pricing from, and these vendors are the ones that could possibly exceed the $10,000 threshold, so we try to get them pre-approved at the beginning of the fiscal year just to process payments quicker in purchasing and repairs.
Okay, thank you. Take a motion?
Sure. I move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders in an amount not to exceed $25,000 in fiscal year 2021 for each of the following vendors: FW Web, Electrical Wholesalers, Filter Sales and Service, MC Management, Toll Brothers, John Boyle, Swan Associates, Joka, England Industrial, K&S Distributors, and CNC Custodial, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Okay, thank you. Second? Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Agenda item number 11, is the same, but for Department 61.
Okay, same issue, right?
Same group.
Yeah, same group. Okay, I think we got it. We got it, Doug, so we'll go ahead and take a motion on this.
Okay, I move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders in an amount not to exceed $25,000 in fiscal year 2021 for each of the following vendors: FW Web, Electrical Wholesalers, Filter Sales and Service, MC Management, Toll Brothers, John Boyle, Swan Associates, Joka, and this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Are these cumulative, so some of these vendors could get $100,000 without any oversight from the council?
Did you hear that question, Doug?
Yes, there is. It's per our 2 departments, so our town, Department 38 town buildings, and our Department 61, the school buildings. So it does give us a potential, between the 2 buildings, potentially reach $50,000 per vendor.
Yeah. Violate the charter?
I mean, is that, what's the what do we normally spend? Is it within the, is this within the normal year? I mean, I know things happen.
Yeah, on a, with the cost of materials and, aging infrastructure, we could, a lot of times, usually the 10 to 15,000 range is what we see on a excessive year of maintenance. There has been, some breakdowns and repairs that drives the cost of the account up to close to 20,000 on the vendor. But 25,000 is a state threshold that we try to use as a guideline to not exceed.
What does Toll Brothers sell?
That's door hardware.
Pardon me?
Door hardware.
Door hardware. Yeah.
We're potentially allowing $100,000 worth of door hardware, and we're here 4 times.
Maybe just for our, go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some of these vendors, we buy materials direct and perform the labor in-house through our operating account. And some of these vendors also offer a contractual service in which we hire them to come in and perform labor. That's why it's split up the way it is.
Okay, so maybe what we're asking, just if the costs start getting high, you just give us a report, you know, through a Roche. Just I know Roche, I'm sure will monitor it, obviously, as you will, but just so we know, you know, how we're doing.
Sure.
Whenever, you know, as we get into the year. Does that make sense, Charlie?
Yeah.
Just kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We're used to okaying $15,000 and up, and we're looking at $100,000.
Right.
Without any oversight.
Yeah, if we get above these
Beyond
limits,
the intent of
yeah,
the charter.
we should, you know, just get
I'll
it.
have a report.
Yeah.
Over 25.
All right.
I get that.
Appreciate that. Okay. We good? Charlie, is that good? Make sense? All right. Any other comments? If not, we're gonna take a motion. 11, right? We're on 11. Right? Did you do 11? No, I thought. We're on 11, right? Yeah, 11.
Move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders in amount not to exceed $25,000 in fiscal year 2021 for each of the following vendors: FW Webb, Electrical Wholesalers, Filter Sales and Service, MC Management, Toll Brothers, John Boyle, Swan Associates, and Jinka, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Number 12.
Number 12, same department, 38 purchase orders for contractors up to 25,000.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll take a motion.
Okay, I move to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders in an amount not to exceed $25,000 in fiscal year 2021 for each of the following contractors: Clearwater Industries, Water One Tech, Landry Communications, Drain Doctor, Associated Security, Security 101, Johnson Controls, Train US, Automated Buildings, Calvert Safe and Lock, Stanley Access Technology, Dakin Applied, Hussey Advantage, Swan Associates, Encore, Cone Elevator, Toll Brothers, Cone Elevator, Toll Brothers, and Carrier, as this is the best interest of the town.
Okay, thank you. Second? Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then the item number 13 is approval for 61 for increase in contractors. The previous one was for material.
Okay.
61.
I'll make a motion to waive the town's bidding procedures and approve issuing purchase orders in an amount not to exceed $25,000 in fiscal year 2021 for each of the following contractors: Clearwater Industries, Water One Tech, Landry Communications, Drain Doctor, Associated Security, Security 101, Johnson Controls, Train US, Toll Brothers, Calvert Safe and Lock, Stanley Access Technology, Hussey Advantage, Swan Associates, Cone Elevator, Dakin Applied, and Horton Electric, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you, Charlie. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Agenda item number 14 is access control upgrades for Berlin High School and Willard Elementary School and Hubbard Elementary. Want to add anything, Doug?
Yeah, just this is the last round of all the security grant funding. These three schools qualified under the state security grant, so we're looking to utilize the remaining funding for the access control upgrade.
That's great. So is that the end of the funding? That's it?
We're pretty much zeroed out with what's in the account. There's a few $1,000s plus or minus, but we were able to utilize the majority of the funding to complete as many upgrades as we possibly could between cameras, access control, and additional security measures.
That's great. Well, thanks for all that work on that, making our schools safe. Okay. if there's no further discussion, we'll have a motion.
Okay, I move to utilize the State of Connecticut DAS contract number 17 PSX 0002 and approve fee proposal number 1311411-2, Security 101, Advanced Security Integration LLC of Plainville, Connecticut, for an amount not to exceed $92,331.47.
Second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
So, agenda item 15, 16, and 17, I'm going to have Chris Edge and Jim Mahoney chime in. And I'll start with 15. It's a modification of the town contract with Newport Realty concerning demolition of 861 Farmington Avenue, adjustment to the purchase price. Either one of you gentlemen?
Okay.
Hello, Chris.
This is Jim Mahoney. How you doing?
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
So, we have some modifications to the contract with Newport. We had previously adjusted the purchase price to $861, based on the groundwater control systems, et cetera, as we discussed previously. Now, can you hear me all right?
I'm sorry. Somebody can...
Mute.
Others, put your phones on mute, please.
Mute if you're not talking,
Background noise.
please.
Please, and thank you.
Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of the amendments that we would like to make. One is regarding, we have a contingency in the existing contract that requires that Newport have the financing for each phase of the development project before we close on the properties involved in that phase. The first properties we're going to close on are 861, 903, and 913 Farmington Avenue. And as the council knows, one of the things that's been a delay on this project is the zoning appeal. And we just signed the stipulated judgment and also an environmental settlement agreement with the abutting property owner last week. So that really clears the way for Newport to, get going on their financing. But, at this point, we kind of have a timing and funding quandary because we need to get going on the Boulevard contract because the steep funding is limited to this calendar year, and we want to get under construction on that. And so Newport at this point is in a position is in the process of applying for funding for the acquisition of 861, 903, and 913 Farmington Avenue. That would be for $470,000. Plus its share of, we have shared costs arrangement in the purchase and sale agreement concerning certain off-site costs. So we have the Boulevard costs the town is incurring, but there's some shared costs like drainage and some other items that Mike and Arosh had negotiated with Newport. And so their shared cost total obligation would be $269,000, of which $90,000 will be their construction of an underground detention system on the triangular parcel to the northeast of the boulevard that the town is retaining ownership of. And that underground detention system is to reduce the flows into the Connecticut DOT drainage system. So they will basically be paying us $179,000 in cash plus doing $90,000 in work for the underground detention system. So what they're getting financing for at this point would be, again, the acquisition, the shared costs, and the cost of the renovations of 861. In addition, there's some other items that we're looking to modify. One is in our current contract, Newport, the town is required to remove the slabs and footings from 889 Farmington Avenue. We found that's not necessary because we're going to be able to, we're going to be changing the grade when we put the cap on the site, so we're not going to have to remove the footings. And so Newport has agreed that the town is not going to be required to remove the footings, which will save us money. again, I talked a little bit about the shared costs, and, you know, we had the shared cost arrangement, but now, as I said, Arosh and Mike Ahern have negotiated that. We put the spreadsheet in your packet that shows what the shared costs are, what the town portion of the shared costs, Newport portion of the shared costs. As I said, Newport's portion is $269,000, of which $179,000 will be cash and $90,000 in kind for the construction of the underground detention system. Then, in terms of the construction of phase one, we've already gone through with the town council an 824 process, and we've approved an easement for over a portion of 889 Farmington Avenue that will be necessary for access. That's next to Joel's, where the access driveway, the one-way access driveway is going to be coming in there, and parking to support phase one of the development. So before they're going to be acquiring 889 Farmington Avenue in the third phase, they're going to need rights over this easement area. So, and that's been previously approved by the council. Now we would amend the contract to reflect that. Also, with respect to 861 Farmington Avenue, previously we had a provision, and part of our plan here, as you know, is with filing an environmental land use restriction as part of our strategy to avoid an active groundwater remediation system for 889 Farmington Avenue. So in the contract, it says that the ELUR, environmental land use restriction, would be filed before the closing. We think we're going to file it after the closing, so we're going to modify the wording in that regard. And then there is also, we have a provision in the agreement that calls for the town to indemnify the buyer, Newport, from environmental conditions on the 89 site. And, you know, I think we had talked about this with the council from the time of the bid process where, you know, the town is going to be signing on as a responsible party and, again, implementing the environmental measures. But since 861 is going to be acquired before 889, we need to do the indemnification agreement now with respect to the groundwater from 889 that's going to be flowing onto that flows onto 861. So adding that indemnification agreement. And then on another item on your agenda tonight, we have the parking easement on 889 that would be part of phase one with 861 Farmington Avenue. And that relates to this settlement agreement with the abutting owner at 873 Farmington Avenue, where we've developed a plan which will allow 873 to expand their building and cooperative parking arrangement with 861 and 873. And by providing the easement, we'll be able to do 90-degree parking, gaining additional parking spaces that were then that number was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission as adequate for the development project. So those are the basic changes to the agreement, and be happy to try to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Okay. No, it's pretty thorough covering of it. We've obviously been dealing with this for a long time. And it is very complicated, as we all know, and but you know, it's moving forward, so that's wonderful. So okay, so what are we up on? What do we start with? 15, right? Yeah, 15.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to enter an amendment to the town's contract with Newport Realty Group LLC regarding the sale of 861, 889, 903, and 913 Farmington Avenue. Modify the seller contingency regarding buyer financing to eliminate the requirement that the town remove the slabs for 889 Farmington Avenue, to define the sharing arrangement for off-site costs, to provide an easement on two parts of 889 Farmington Avenue at the time of phase one closing, to allow for the filing of an ELUR on 861 Farmington Ave, either before or after closing, and to provide town indemnification of Newport with respect to third-party claims relating to groundwater issues on 861 Farmington Avenue at the time of phase one closing, subject to review and approval of the amendment by Corporation Council.
Thank you. Second on that? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. 16?
Yeah, item number 16 is authorization regarding granting an easement, what Jim just mentioned, from a collection of 889 Farmington Ave, 861 and 873 Farmington Ave. You need to add anything, Jim, or you'll just cover it?
I think I've covered it, but if you have any questions, I can address it.
No, you did. I know we've been working on that for a long time as well, so we've all been part of those discussions along the way, so we appreciate that summary tonight. So we'll go ahead and take a
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into agreements to grant easements on a portion of 889 Farmington Avenue, the properties at 861 and 873 Farmington Avenue, subject to review and approval of Corporation Council.
second.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. 17.
Thank you. Agenda item number 17, award the contracts for Boulevard to the Berlin train station to Guerrera Construction Company and increase the construction administration contract to WMC Consulting Engineering. Jim or Chris?
Okay. Yes, so we bid the contract for the construction of the boulevard. The low bidder was Guerrero Construction of Oxford in an amount of $1,194,692.50. This was a number that was less than our engineer's estimates, and we were pleased with that. So we want to award the contract to Guerrero. The complication on this item is that we're piecing together various funding for the project, and I'll kind of go through it. We've got the original STEEP grant, of which we have a certain amount of money left for construction. We had reprogramming of funds from the Responsible Growth Property Acquisition Grant, and we are projecting the sale of properties to Newport at 861, 903, and 913 Farmington Avenue for $470,000, plus the shared cost cash contribution on that I discussed of $179,000. So that would provide enough money to award the contract, and also to modify our contract with WMC Consulting Engineers to increase the construction administration services by $71,000. It's become quite a much more complex project than Public Works. As we all know, is stretched out, and so we want to have for the project period much more active construction administration piece than we originally anticipated. With that basic funding, we have a less than normal amount of money that we can dedicate to the change orders or contingencies of $26,956.50. However, we're in the process of finalizing an amendment to the Boulevard STEEP contract, which would bring us an additional $336,000 in money reprogrammed from the train station project, and we expect that to be finalized in about 6 to 8 weeks. So what our request is to authorize the town manager to enter into the contract to award the boulevard construction to Guerrero Construction Company, and also to amend the contract with WMC Consulting Engineers, but to make this authorization contingent on 3 things that are not satisfied yet, that need to be accomplished before we can start building the boulevard. The 3 things are granting of the encroachment permit from the Department of Transportation, and from the Department of Transportation, they own a parcel that is in between 889 Farmington Avenue and the train station parking lot that we would be constructing part of the boulevard on, so we need rights from them. Now, on those 2 items, we're well along toward accomplishing those. We can see it in the near future, but we don't have those final approvals yet. So those would be contingencies of the authorization to the town manager. And the third piece would be the closing with Newport that would generate the cash from the sale of the properties and the shared cost arrangement to provide the balance of the funding needed for the construction of the boulevard. So that's basically the request.
Okay. Like the request, okay. All right, so we have, again, been part of a lot of this, and there are a few changes here, so thank you for that explanation. So we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Motion to award the contract for construction of a boulevard from Farmington Avenue to the Berlin train station to the low bidder, Carrera Construction Company of Oxford, Connecticut, in the amount of $1,194,692.50, and authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with Carrera Construction Company to enter into change orders not to exceed $26,956.50, subject to review and approval of Corporation Council, and to sale to Newport of 861, 903, 913 Farmington Avenue for $470,000 plus a shared cost contribution for off-site work of $179,000, the granting of an encroachment permit from the Connecticut DOT, an agreement from the Connecticut DOT to grant the town rights to construct the portion of the boulevard that will be on the parcel that connects the train station parking lot and is owned by Connecticut DOT. Said contract at change orders to be funded from the following accounts and sources. Portion of the proceeds of the sale of 861, 903, 913 Farmington Avenue for $399,000. Newport net shared cost contribution $179,000. Steep Boulevard at the Berlin train station account of $360,000. TOD property acquisition account of $245,397. And the Steep downtown sidewalks account for $38,252.
Quite the motion. Man, we're out of breath. Wow.
Can you repeat that?
We missed starting from the second line on. Start going through that again.
Hope the boulevard isn't as long and winding as the path it took to get here.
Okay, well, if we have no other discussion, which you're certainly welcome to do, we'll go ahead and vote on this. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. We got a second motion here?
Okay, second motion, I move to authorize the town manager to enter into an amendment to the contract with WMC Consulting Engineers to increase the scope to add $71,000 in additional construction administrative services to be funded by a portion of the proceeds of the sale of 861, 903, 913 Farmington Avenue of $71,000.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay.
All right, thank you. Agenda item number 18 is amendments to contract with the Alfred Environmental concerning 1567 Bowling Turnpike. Chris, I think you're taking this one?
Chris?
I can take it.
Yes.
Or Jim?
I was going to say, I can take it, or you can take it, Jim. It's up to you.
Oh, give the poor guy a break. Give Jim a break, Chris. Come on. What the heck? Whatever.
I've been on this one for a long time. I've been on this one. So the 1567 Berlin Turnpike is the Newman property that's next to Sage Park, and we acquired it. We had environmental insurance. VEP rejected the reports on the property cleanup, and so we've been involved in cleaning up the property with insurance funds and then doing monitoring and trying to move toward eventually verifying compliance with the state standards so we can stop the monitoring process. So the work that we're looking to have Alta do is two parts. One is their normal annual monitoring and reporting. They monitor certain wells for certain constituents that we still haven't verified compliance with. And the second part of, and that's $5,300 worth of work, and Public Works has an account to use for that project. And then the second piece is for Alta to work on a verification report. And the good news on that, we're not quite there yet, but the verification report would be demonstrating to DEP that we've achieved compliance of all the standards. We're pretty close, although it can take a while, and DEP has quite a while to review the report after they receive it, but I guess we can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. AIG has approved payment of that amount of $12,500. Again, Alta's been our consultant for this project for over a decade, and so we're asking for the motion to authorize those two contracts in the best interest of the town.
Yeah, a decade.
Yes.
And we're almost, how much longer do we think? Do we have any clue? No. Yeah, what do we do with it then, yeah.
The parking lot where they store the school bus?
Yeah, where the one bus is parked there.
I'm in favor of this motion, but why do we store the school bus there?
I don't know why it's parked there. Doesn't it have a sign on it, looking for drivers or something? Is that what it has on it, the little bus?
Looking for drivers.
Maybe. Good, whatever you want.
I've been asking for years, why do we keep a school bus there?
That may be part of their contract, what they have with the town.
I don't know.
Oh, see what the school bus is doing there.
Yes.
Hey, Jim, do you know what the school bus is doing there?
I have no idea.
I'll follow up on that.
The bus is now contaminated anyway, so it's probably no good anymore.
Maybe it's leaking oil.
Yeah, that's it. That's why it's not done yet. We still got problems.
Maybe Alta put it there.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Deep is always a pleasure. Okay, so we'll take a motion on
Okay, I
this.
move to authorize the town manager to enter into two contract amendments with Altus Environmental. One in the amount of $12,500 for the work on a verification report to be funded by AIG, paid from the insurance account. And second, in the amount of $5,300 for groundwater monitoring and reports to be funded from the monitoring of Newman property account.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you. Agenda item number 19, this is coming back to the council. We had proposed this program by the Department of Revenue Services, Neighborhood Assistance Act. 2 grants from the Prudence Crandall. We had the town meeting, the public hearing last 2 weeks ago, and they require the governing body of the municipality to formally approve the programs, and it's here for the final action.
Great. Okay, yeah. Great program. At our hearing and take a motion.
Okay, I move to affirm prior support proposals from the Prudence Crandall Center for the 2020 Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act Tax Credit Program.
Thank you. Second on that?
Second.
Thank you very much. Hearing no discussion. Vote on the motion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Oh, hallelujah. Okay. So I think we're making that 9 o'clock time frame there, Charlie.
Yeah.
So anyway. Okay, next we have appointments. We have one appointment to make. And we have one person applying. So go ahead and take a nomination.
You want to do it, Peter?
Sure. I'd like to nominate Karen Bagliaro, school board, excuse me, the library board. That might have been Freudian.
We're slipping in there. All right, that's all right. Okay, thank you very much. Any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations. All those in favor of Karen, say aye.
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 Thank you.
So moved. Welcome Karen to the library board. Okay. All right. What we got? So town manager's report. Okay. I'm sure it's brief tonight, Roche, right?
I don't have much. I was going to talk about the pool opening. We covered it. And the field, there were some questions. They're opening tomorrow.
No, that's good.
And then the next one is the library. We have a target date of July 6th.
No.
We still have over 4,800 books that have not been returned.
4,800? Wow.
They're working our way down from 7,000 now.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, getting people to come in and curbside drop off and pick up. There's a lot of pickups going on too.
Okay.
But from the original 7, we're down to 4,800. People are reading a lot, I guess, in the house, right?
Yeah, maybe
So,
that's
so we're making plans to open the lobby, to bring people in, study rooms, public computers, by reservation, and there are all these guidelines on social distancing, all that. But the patrons are really happy that they can go online and call and get what they need, and then come, library staff will come outside and they give the stuff. So it's working out well. So the last one to open, we still don't have a date, is the senior center.
No.
It's working out well the way it is right now. We still are highly discouraged by everyone to bring the seniors together, and they understand that. But they're thrilled with, that they're calling them and getting their medicine and doctor's visits and food and all the other things. Tina is doing a fabulous job taking all this stuff.
That's great.
So that's it for now. Town manager, keep it brief. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Appreciate that. Any questions for Arosh? I just have one.
Sure.
And I just have been asked a million times, so I gotta ask it. For the protest rally the other day,
Yes.
the town cost incurred for that?
Yeah.
Do we have an amount?
I have the amount because Board of Finance asked the same question.
Okay, okay.
About a little bit over, like 8,600 for police.
Okay.
And close to 2,000 for public works, for trucks and all that. So let's say about 10,000.
About 10 grand?
Yeah.
Okay. Just people are asking, they wanna know, and they have a right to know. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so special committee reports, we've had none, right? Have we had any? No.
No.
Council communications. What do we got?
Too tired.
That's why we leave it to the end, so we don't need to worry about talking about it. Any? None? Okay, we'll go to acceptance of minutes. Motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the town council meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2020.
Second on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay, so now we go to our executive session. We need a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, I'll make a motion to go into executive session pending litigations, Connecticut General State Statutes, Section 1-200, Part B, strategy and negotiations with respect to claims or pending litigation, Rio Vista. And also for personnel matters, Connecticut General State Statutes, Section 1-200, Part A, concerning appointment, employment, performance evaluation of a public employee, the town manager.
Okay, thank you. Second? Oh, yeah, who's in, so we got Arosh, obviously, Mr. D'Onofrio.
And
Jeff.
Chuck.
And,
And is Jennifer Capola joining us, Jeff?
Yes,
Yeah, so you will inform them to call in that other number.
I just texted them. Yep.
Okay,
okay.
once we hang up, I'll dial that number.
Okay, second? Right, so we're going to public hearing about 9:02. Executive session, I'm sorry. All those in favor? Aye, I'm sorry, all right, yeah, it's getting late. Okay. So we'll wait a moment till we gotta call them on the other. Yeah, call in on the super secret number.
She's got books.
She got books. Bring the books back. Well, I guess that's good. People are reading, so.
I'm really surprised at that.
What?
That many books